He's been made out to be the Charles Manson of Pittsburgh.
George Biggenwald's attorney is defending his client's character. He says Biggenwald and the victim were in a fight that night, but that the killing wasn't intentional, even though he says the allegations against his client, they're saying that he went through great lengths to cover it up.
He panicked. It shows his panicking. He goes from the bathtub. He goes to the car. He goes to the refrigerator.
Biggenwald's lawyer says his client and the victim, Donna C., were both drunk, and that played a major role in this. Braddock's mayor is looking to win a seat in the U.S. Senate. John Fetterman will officially launch his campaign on Monday. He'll run on the Democratic ticket and challenge Republican incumbent Pat Toomey. In more Decision 2016 coverage, Rick Perry is dropping out of the Republican race for president. The former Texas governor is the first candidate this election cycle to end his campaign. And Republican frontrunner Donald Trump is a guest on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon tonight. Catch it right here on 11 at 11 after Skylights.
Mr. Butler, is there anything you'd like to say? No.
A tight-lipped suspect facing the UPMC Mercy patients he's accused of sexually assaulting. William Butler's case will go to trial, but he's out of jail after posting $10,000 bond. Butler was working at UPMC Mercy as a patient sitter. The hospital fired him over the allegations. One of the alleged victim's attorneys says his client is prepared to testify at trial.
That's the advice that I would give to any victim. Don't be afraid. If you know what's right, go ahead, complete the whole process, because that's how you're going to stop things like this.
7 of the 8 alleged victims showed up for that hearing today. And the Allegheny County Crime Lab says its $250,000 grant is coming at the right time. The lab has to test 400 rape kits that have been sitting there in police departments. That's on top of another 160 kits it's already examining. Officials say they'll use the grant to send the kits to a private lab to lessen their load.
This will ensure that those kits are examined and looked into, and hopefully people will be caught and charged and held accountable.
There are an estimated 70,000 untested rape kits nationwide. And the federal trial for Joseph Martizio continued today. The Somerset priest is accused of raping young boys in Honduras. Prosecutors showed jurors explicit pictures they say he took and emails claim proves he's guilty. 11 at 11 obtained copies of one of those emails. He writes, "I can't believe I did and said so many evil things. Honduras brings out the worst in me. Why does God keep picking on me?" And testimony continues Monday, and trial is expected to last for a few more weeks. New video on 11 at 11, the annual tribute in lights illuminating the skies in New York. It's to honor the thousands of people who died in the September 11th terrorist attacks 14 years ago today. The lights reach 4 miles into the sky. And this is the first anniversary that the Flight 93 Visitor Center was open near Shanksville. It tells the story of the 40 passengers and crew who thwarted the hijackers' plans.
Their actions, I do think, can inspire all of us to want to be better.
Family members say they're comforted knowing their loved ones' legacies will live on here.
Every night when I go to work, say, "Love you, we miss you."
It's a wound that will never heal. 2 state troopers gunned down in eastern Pennsylvania. A massive manhunt for the shooter. Corporal Brian Dixon was shot and killed a year ago tomorrow. Trooper Alex Douglas was wounded. Eric Freen, a survivalist that led police on a 48-day manhunt, is charged with shooting them both. After all this time, the community has returned to normal, but for the victims of the family members, one question still lingers.
What did he accomplish besides making 2 young boys go without their father now?
Freen's trial starts next year. And traffic troubles continue this weekend on the Parkway West, but there's a silver lining why it won't be completely shut down as originally planned.
Our Whitfield team looks to be the second ever to reach a major milestone, and we have big battles, big scores, and all the high school action from the hottest teams next on Skylights.
Annuitized $106 million. To win that jackpot, you must match these 5 white balls plus that gold mega ball. Now, let's see if I can make you a millionaire tonight. Our first winning number tonight is 31. That's followed by 5. Up next we have 50. Your next number is 67, and your final wipe off for this Friday evening is 11. Now for the Mega Ball. Tonight's Mega Ball number is 14. Again, tonight's winning numbers are 31, 5, 50, 67, 11, and the gold Mega Ball is 14. Now, no one matches all 6 numbers. Tuesday's jackpot to be $117 million. Good luck and play on, America.
And here's tomorrow, also the sweaters and the light jackets. Rain moving into the area overnight tonight. This is 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Pretty good shot of steadier rain. But as we head through 10 o'clock, you can see the back edge shifting northward, which means the steadiest rain will be out of the picture by noon in some of the latest data. That actually bodes well. We'll be looking at some clearing for the afternoon. 5-day forecast. It is going to be cool through the weekend, improving for next week. Enjoy your weekend.
And tomorrow's wet weather is changing construction plans on the Parkway West. The lanes leaving the city are closed now from the Fort Pitt Tunnel to Banksville. But early Sunday morning, outbound lanes will close entirely from the tunnel to I-79, so you want to give yourself plenty of extra time to get to where you need to go. And we're back on the air at 5 a.m. for more Channel 11 morning news, but don't go anywhere. Albie joins me for Skylights right now.
Now it's time for Friday night football action on Skylights.
It's a special red, white, and blue September 11th edition of Skylights. I'm Scott Harbaugh from Thomas Jefferson High School, where TJ in Belle Vernon voted me on Twitter to start Skylights right here. Week 2 of Skylights begins right now.
All right, you see it there. Fired up high school football fans everywhere tonight, and it's all part of a big night under the skylights. Good evening and welcome to week 2 of the best high school action on Skylights.
We're covering all the different classes for you, and we're starting tonight with a huge Quad A showdown. Bethel Park trying to get its first win over number 2 ranked Woodland Hills in Quad A at the Wolverina. And the Wolverines came out running. Joel Shaw takes it in from 13 yards out, and a 7-0 Woody High lead. Bethel's turn. Levi Matheny, the quarterback, keeps it, goes around in, but doesn't score. However, it sets up this 35-yard field goal by Kelsey Kishler. She nails it from 35 yards out. 3 points for the Blackhawks. Still first quarter. Levi Matheny to Charlie Davis for a touchdown and a 10-7 Blackhawks lead. Second quarter, Woodland Hills goes to work. Joel Shaw deflects the lateral. Ball is loose in the end zone. Woody High's Wilford Clark comes up with it. 14-10 Woodland Hills. But the Blackhawks aren't finished yet. Quarterback Matheny scores on a 1-yard run to give Bethel the lead again. 17-14, but the Wolverines, too much tonight. Miles Sanders, 57 yards on the reception. Woody High wins at the Wolverina.
And what a play there. Thomas Jefferson doesn't lose too often in the regular season.
But last week, they did. They had a chance to turn things around against Belle Vernon, who they've defeated 14 times in a row. Carleen Nolan takes us to the action at TJ.
It's an exciting night here at Thomas Jefferson High School, where tonight they're up against Belle Vernon. They beat Belle Vernon 14 consecutive times, but they're coming off a big loss last week against Ringgold. It's the Jaguars versus the Leopards tonight. We'll see which Big Cat comes out on top. Things get started with a bang for Thomas Jefferson on the first drive of the night. Ryan Scanlon runs 6 yards for a score. Still in the first, QB Julian Nitro connects with John Muehlbauer for a 29-yard catch and touchdown. Now in the second quarter, Belle Vernon's Mike Fine runs 58 yards, putting them on the board with 6 points. Now 17-7, Thomas Jefferson. More in the second quarter, Zane Zandier connects with John Muehlbauer on a 14-yard pass and score. Now in the third, after a 64-yard kickoff return, Luke Durgan runs 24 yards for a touchdown. Only minutes later, Luke Durgan runs 10 yards for a second touchdown of the game. Now in overtime, Belle Vernon scores. TJ has one last shot to tie it up, but they are stopped on 4th down and intercepted by Philip Taylor. And Belle Vernon goes on to win 31-24. I'm Carleen Nolan, WPXI Skylights.
All right, last week, Armstrong High School played its first game ever after the merger between Ford City and Kittanning, and they won.
And tonight they face a stiff challenge in AA as they travel to Mars to take on the Planet. Shelby Boards is in Mars.
Talk Talking with Mars head coach Scott Hightower this week, it's clear who the focus was leading up to this matchup. He tells me the key to this game is to stop the run, especially Riverhawks star running back Zane Dudek, who rushed for over 300 yards and had 3 touchdowns last week against Indiana. And Dudek didn't waste much time as he slices through Mars defenders for the 75-yard touchdown run. Mars 10, Armstrong Riverhawks 7.